What's up everyone, this is Julian and I'm back with another video. And before I get started with the video, I hope your guys' Ultra League battles and Ultra League Premier Cup battles have been going well as well. And if you do like this type of PvP for Pokemon Go content that I'm putting out, feel free to give this video a like and also feel free to be subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you again in advance. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this team that I'm going to be showcasing to you guys today. It's going to be a Grasshole team, so to speak. So it's technically what's called an ABB line, as I've mentioned before in some of my previous videos. The reason why it's called an ABB team is because you have one lead Pokemon with a certain type, and then you have two Pokemon in the back that cover the lead Pokemon's weaknesses. So in this case, you can see that I have an Aggron in the front. Now Aggron is double weak to fighting and also double weak to ground, but it's also weak against water types. So that's why you'll be having a Roserade in the back as well as Venusaur. I'm actually going to be using the Roserade as a safe swap here just because Water Ball Fire type actually puts out a lot of pressure, and with the new Community Day move of Bullet Seed, it gets to Weather Balls very quickly. And I'm also running Leaf Storm. Leaf Storm is pretty much a nuke move. It's like the grass version of Overheat. Now, Leaf Storm does debuff your attack by 2 stages after you do use it though, so it's actually pretty good. It's still fairly powerful even after a debuff or 2. And then of course Venusaur in the back covers a lot of things very well in this meta. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into these battles. And I will say that this team, I was able to get a 4-1 in the set that I was showcasing here. And let's go ahead and get into this first battle right here. So we have Aggron on the lead versus a Togekiss. This is actually a great matchup for Aggron. So the opponent's most likely going to be swapping out here. And they'll be into a Kingdra. So I'm going to be safe swapping into my Roserade. What I'll be doing here is building up to a little bit past the Leaf Storm. However, the Kingdra is at a move, so I will need to shield. It's just going to be a Noctizuka, and it does get the attack debuff here, which is unfortunate. So now that means my Leaf Storms will already be double debuffed. But I'm going to be firing off one here anyway, just to see what happens. So Leaf Storm comes in, gets the shield, which is good. I'm going to go for another Leaf Storm right away. This is either going to be getting the Kingdra decently low or getting the second shield. So you can see that a 4 times debuff Leaf Storm actually still does a pretty decent chunk of damage right there, which is great. So what I'm going to be doing here is coming into the Venusaur and actually farming all the way down. Now the Kingdra is at a move, so this could be the Outrage, but I'm going to have to let it go. And it is an Outrage, which is unfortunate. Actually does quite a lot of damage. And then the Dragon Breaths are going to be very oppressive. So I actually decided to bank a move on the Venusaur and come back in with the Aggron, which is smart. So they actually come in with an Empoleon, which is not that great for the Aggron here. So I actually will have to shield this next move from the Empoleon, which is going to be the Hydro Cannon. And then I am actually going to go for the Thunder here. So I fire off one more Smackdown, go straight for the Thunder, and if the Empoleon doesn't shield, this will pretty much take it out. So Thunder comes in, and it actually takes out the Empoleon, which is great. So a Togekiss is going to be coming back in. Now Charms are resistant, but still chunking away the Aggron here. I am luckily able to get to the Stone Edge with pretty much almost no HP here. So the Stone Edge is going to be getting the shield from the Togekiss. But what's great is, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a move stored on the Venusaur. So the Sludge Bomb is going to be coming in from my Venusaur here. And literally with 1 HP left, I'm going to be able to take down the Togekiss with the Sludge Bomb. So that's a great game. Very well played to my opponent there. That was a pretty close one too. That was a nail biter actually. Alright, now we're moving on to battle number 2. So this team, you can either face a great lead or a neutral lead or a very, very hard counter lead. So you'll be seeing a mixture of that here in this video. So now we have Aggron on the lead versus a Swampert. So this is a very, very hard counter here to the Aggron. Have to swap out immediately to the Roserade. Now they are not backing out yet, so that also tells me that something in the back might be weak to grass types. So I'm actually going to be letting this go. And it is an Earthquake, unfortunately, which does take out the Roserade, which kind of is unfortunate. So now I'm going to have to bring in my Venusaur here. So they could be going for another Earthquake again, but I'm actually not going to shield this. It is a Hydro Cannon, which is great for me. Now they actually bring in an Obstagoon, which is actually still pretty threatening here because Obstagoon can threaten my Aggron in the back. So I'm going to have to try to take out this Obstagoon here as best as I can with the Venusaur. Now it's going to be shielding up this first Frenzy, but I'm going to go for another one right now. Now this is either going to be getting the Obstagoon pretty low or getting a second shield, which it gets a second shield. So I have to swap into my Aggron here. And I'm going to be forcing this Obstagoon to dump its energy here on the Aggron. If it has Cross Chop, so be it, but they only have Night Slash. So this tells me that they're running the Night Slash and Gunk Shot combination and not Cross Chop. So Obstagoon is going to be getting up another Night Slash here. And they are able to farm me down, which is unfortunate. So now the Venusaur is going to have to shield and do a lot of heavy lifting here. But luckily I still have shield advantage over the opponent, which is great for me. However, they do get the boost, but they decide to come back in with their own Venusaur, which is not good. So what I have to do here is try to get to basically 2 Sludge Bombs. So they are at a move, so I have to shield this. So they're going to be throwing a Frenzy Plant. So I have to go for a back-to-back Sludge Bombs here. So the first one is going to be getting the Venusaur into a little bit under half here. And then I still have to have enough energy here for whatever they have, which is the Obstagoon and the Swampert. So I'm going to have to throw another Sludge Bomb here after building up a little bit. So luckily I'm able to get a little bit more farm here on this Venusaur. So I'm able to get to this next move here on the Obstagoon, which is going to be the Frenzy Plant, which at this range is going to be enough to take it out. So Frenzy Plant comes through and takes out the Obstagoon, and then luckily I am able to farm down the Swampert just before it gets to a move. So that was a very, very close game again. Well played to my opponent there. And the Venusaur pretty much had to 1v3 during that one. You the real MVP Venusaur, thanks. Now we're moving on to this third battle. And I will say that this third battle is definitely a very interesting one. Never expected to run into this kind of team. You guys will see what I mean here. So in the lead we have Aggron versus a Poliwrath. Actually it's the next battle, I think. So Poliwrath is again a bad lead for Aggron here. I'm going to have to swap into Roserade and I draw out the Venusaur, which is actually a pretty good matchup here for Roserade because again the fire type Weather Ball spam will be hitting the Venusaur for pretty hard damage. So they actually let this one go. I'm going to have to build up to another 2 Weather Balls here. So I'm at the second one. However, the Venusaur is at the move, so I will actually be committing a shield here. Sludge Bomb. I'm going to be going for that Weather Ball right now. And then this Weather Ball will probably be drawing the shield from the Venusaur. So I'm going to try to build up to another one, but I actually decide to let this one go because I know I can still take one. So I want to I do want to win switch here, so that's why I'm still able to get off another Weather Ball. So the ideal situation would be to win switch and shield advantage here, so I do get the shield, which is great. Now I'm able to get to one more weather ball here to take out this Venusaur, which is very ideal for me here in this situation. So this next weather ball comes in and takes out the Venusaur, which is nice. So I'm able to get back switch advantage, and they actually bring out an Electivire. So I was trying to go for a Leaf Storm, got a little bit greedy, but I'm going to let the Electivire take me out here, which is fine. So I'm going to be coming back in here with the Aggron, of course. So they come back in with Poliwrath. I'm going to be swapping right into my Venusaur, because that's the alignment that I wanted here. Now the only thing that the Poliwrath can really do here in this situation is go for Ice Punches, which still does a good chunk here to Venusaur. But it's not really that threatening, so I can just go for a Frenzy Plant right afterwards, but I will have to shield this one, just because I do want to preserve health on the Venusaur here. So I shield up this Ice Punch. Going to be building up a little bit more energy here and throwing the Frenzy Plant right away, just so I can have a little bit of energy left on the Venusaur for the Electivire. So Electivire is coming back in, and then the Electivire is actually going to be going for a Ice Punch, but because it's not stab again from the Electivire, I can still live it, which is great. Going for a Frenzy Plant right away here on the Venusaur, and this should be more than enough here to take out the Electivire, because Electivire is fairly squishy. And that is going to be a great third game. Well played to my opponent. Alright, and now we're moving on to the next battle. Okay. So we have in the lead, it'll be Aggron versus a Gardevoir, which is actually a pretty good matchup here for Aggron. And the Aggron and the Gardevoir is actually running Confusion, which is very surprising for me. So they swap into Empoleon. So I'm going to be, of course, bringing in my Roserade, trying to go for a Leaf Storm. I do have the shield. It's going to be that Drill Peck. So my play here should have been to go for Weather Ball spam, and I actually do decide to do that. So I'm going to be throwing a Weather Ball first, hopefully getting a shield from this Empoleon, and they don't shield, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to be going for another Weather Ball here. And this one is going to be, and they're going to let this one go. So actually you have to let this one go. So my play should have been to actually try to win switch here. So now the Aggron's going to get a little bit more farm, which is good. But now they come back in with they actually come in with a Gallade now, which is really bad. And I do decide to go for a Stone Edge here. Just draw a shield, but the only problem is that the Venusaur is very weak to Confusion in the back. So my Venusaur will probably get farmed down after this. So I decided to try to catch a move on the Venusaur, and I failed pretty badly. And now they actually come into the Gardevoir, which is very, very bad. And my only play here against this Gardevoir is to go for a double Sludge Bomb. But then they do have a shield here, so they actually go for a Synchronize, which would have been enough to take it out. So go for one Sludge Bomb here. This either gets the shield on the Gardevoir or it takes it out. But they do still have a fairly healthy Gallade in the back, which is not good. And this Confusion does go through, which is going to be enough to take out my Venusaur after I fire off this move. And the Frenzy Plant gets the shield, which is good, but I still have Aggron in the back, which is going to go down to a close combat, and my Aggron is not close enough to be at a move, so which is unfortunate. It's a very close one, and should have played that one better, but nonetheless, that was a great game. Well played to my opponent there. And that's okay, you can't win them all. You know, just learn from your mistakes and continue to keep trying. This is a long season, and you know, you'll have a lot of time to figure out some good teams you guys want to try and run, and you know, just live through your mistakes, and hopefully you can learn better for the next battles you do. So the last battle here, we have Aggron versus a Scizor. This is a very interesting matchup, so to speak. This Scizor's running Bullet Punch, and I'm running Smackdown. Smackdown's hurting the Scizor quite a bit, even though it's neutral damage here. So I'm actually not going to be throwing any charge moves here in this battle, again, for the Aggron. So I'm going to have to be shielding the moves that Scizor throws. I'm actually at another move right now. So I can tank one Night Slash, so I'm going to let it go. So the next, I'm going to continue to try to farm down the Scizor. However, they're still alive here, but I do want to preserve the Aggron here for later use. So I'm just going to shield this one. And then I'm able to take out the Scizor here with the Smackdown. So I'm going to be swapping right away into the Roserade, and they actually bring out a Tangrowth. So the great thing here, like I said about Roserade, is getting pressure, adding pressure to the opponent with the weather type, the weather balls that are fire type here. So as you can see, it's really spammy. I'm able to get to another one right here, and this will be doing heavy damage to the Tangrowth or drawing a shield, which is good. So I'm able to get both shields back here from the Roserade, which is great. Now the Tangrowth is going to be going for a Rock Slide, which does a lot of damage. So I'm trying to get to another Weather Ball here, but I'm not able to, so the Tangrowth is going to be taking me out here with a Rock Slide. And now I'm going to be coming in with my Venusaur. Going to be farming up a little bit. So I'm going to be hit with another Rock Slide here against the Tangrowth. So we're doing a little bit of damage here to my Venusaur, which is fine. So I'm going to be going for the Sludge Bomb right now. And this should be enough damage to take out the Tangrowth. Almost does. So luckily I'm able to get a little bit of farm against the Tangrowth, which is great. So I'm going to be throwing the Frenzy Plant right away for the Kingdra that's coming in. So thankfully I was able to get some good farm here on that Tangrowth. So going to be going for the Frenzy Plant to do some good damage, and then swapping back into my Aggron here as a little combo play to use the Thunder here that I've stored up to almost take out the Kingdra. It barely lives with 1 HP, but one more Smackdown is just going to be enough here to take out that Kingdra. So great game, well played to my opponent, and yeah, that was pretty much it for this set. Thank you guys for watching this video, and again, I will say that this team has faced a lot of pretty bad leads and also pretty good leads too, so you just have to make sure you play out the pivot game correctly. So the pivot meaning the safe swap. Just want to make sure you try to win switch if the situation is allowed, and yeah, you know, just got to master what you can here with this team. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. I'll see you guys in the next one.